Welcome back. Yesterday, Statistics South Africa released the country's GDP report showing strong improvement for the fourth quarter. South Africa's economy, which was in a recession before the COVID-19 pandemic, deteriorated sharply last year after the government imposed a strict lockdown to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Let's talk more about the numbers with Trinity Nkube, an economic analyst in South Africa. Hello, Trinity. Thank you for joining us.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me again.
Great to have you. So data released yesterday by Statistics South Africa shows that the economy grew 6.3% in the fourth quarter of 2020. Was this in line with your expectations?
At this point, yes. The economy is opening up and a lot of positive things are happening, although we're still in trouble still. This is a source for optimism and a platform to build onto. So yes, it is pretty much in line with what we're expecting. These are the short-term trends. However, I'm sure we'll talk about the long-term trends from there on, because if we compare with pre-COVID, it is really not a really rosy picture, but it's somewhere to start from.
So what sectors were the major drivers of the fourth quarter recovery?
I would say manufacturing, transport, trade, we're opening up. As well as tourism, although it's not widely recorded. However, as we have seen, the alcohol ban being overturned and being relaxed, we're starting to see tourism, the beaches being open. Things are starting to improve all around. But yes, those three major sectors, manufacturing, transport, and trade, we're starting to see a lot of activity in those areas.
Okay, although the GDP expanded in Q2, the country recorded a big annual contraction. What does this say about the economy, and what should the government be doing at this point?
That's an excellent question. This is something that I've always addressed in terms of when we look at the entire economy, it was always going to go through this trajectory. If you remember, before the COVID pandemic, we already had, the rating agencies putting us in junk status. So it's not like the COVID came in and did all of this damage. We already had a very negative outlook before then. So when you look at it at this point, obviously things got worse. And as expected, I think the IMF came in and we were looking at around 7 to 8% contraction. And as you said, we are around that figure anyway at this point. So in terms of government, I'm not the one to put all the responsibility on government. I think if anything, across the world, we have seen that governments are overwhelmed. There's so much that they can do. Yes, we have issues like corruption and all of this type of stuff. However, I would like to put responsibility to each and every individual to look within, to be able to move from where we are, everybody to play their part. I think we need to go away with the idea of entitlement, that the government is going to do everything. I think we're at a point where we can't just look for government to create jobs. We can't just look at government to create a momentum in the economy. However, we have to look at the micro units, the households, the individuals, to create jobs, to create momentum. So all in all, government is there to have a conducive space for us to do business. However, the responsibility stays with the individual. Each individual, if you look at the executives and the leaders and entrepreneurs that we coach within our system, we are always pushing the same message. We all need to go out there and create jobs, create businesses. We cannot expect foreign direct investment, government, and all the people from the outside to help us. Yes, let's do it from the inside out, and then we can attract the right partners.
Okay, what sectors would you like to see improve to actually help the economy at this point?
I would say let's have innovation across all our major sectors. If we look at agriculture, if we look at the manufacturing, what we are saying is let's have the majority of the people being involved in these areas, because what we have seen is that we can have growth, but that's jobless growth. That's not inclusive to the majority of the players. The moment we have all the internal players coming into those spaces, innovating, coming into agriculture, doing agro-processing, adding value, now we have wealth creation that's involving all major players. Unfortunately, we have a paternalistic view in which all the other players are taking the back stand. So, oh no, the government is going to come in and rescue us. So we are saying the African people, the South African people, need to step up their game, level up, get involved in all these areas. And then when you get moving, I can promise you, government likes to move in, jump on a moving train.
What's your outlook for first quarter 2021?
So we have some lagging figures in which things look a bit better than expected. So we are looking at least decreasing the contraction, perhaps by a percentage or percentage or two, points that can get us into a better platform to build from there. If you look at the global outlook, the economy at the end of this year is looking at the global economy is looking at about 5.6%. We're probably just behind that. However, I'm looking at things really improving from there on. And if everybody comes to the party, we are looking at a more positive outlook. Perhaps not pre-COVID, but yeah, I think things will look well once everybody gets involved.
I'll say that's a good start. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, Trinity Nkube. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me again.